Yeah, gonna love my breath. Oh, gonna love. Yeah, gonna love my very best.
Holding, check by White. Now making a move, step back three. Denny arcs it high, came up short, rebound, Klingon reload.
Big surprise, Celtics gave up a rebound.
That was the game, pretty much game winner with the Trailblazers beating the Celtics. Yes, Bobby, it would help if we actually had a fucking center or a power forward who could box out and get that instead of that rookie.
But throw Greg Greason out there. He can get a couple of rebounds.
Double G Burger, he will fucking take care of business. The Celtics game was supposed to be a win. Portland is rebuilding. Boston is contending. Talent gap versus effort gap. Losses like this aren't about scheme. They're about focus. This wasn't about Portland playing great. It was about Boston not showing up. And Bobby, you are the biggest Joe Mazzulla hater since day one. Is it a Joe Mazzulla problem still in Boston?
Yeah, he's a boob. But yeah, I mean, this team, it feels like they just got fat off. Did they play the Indiana Pacers like 8 times in the past week?
The worst team in the NBA. They played them.
Yeah,
like, they played them 4 times.
Like 4 wins against the Pacers.
Yeah.
This season has been very difficult for me to get into. It's like with the Tatum injury, coming into it, it's not the same season. They did like a sell-off. They really didn't retool. So you just kind of know it just isn't. It's not the same thing. So this season has been hard. And then the same thing, and you're watching the games, and they've been a disjointed mess. I think this is a team this is a season really for the true green teamers. And yeah, I mean, they're treading water the winning games because they got some good players, but they're difficult to watch.
I totally disagree because I like it because one, spite. I told Rich that the Celtics are actually going to be a top 4 team. They're top 3 right now.
Yeah,
so spiteful. I'm spiteful watching right now. He also said Jaylen Brown wouldn't be able to hold his team on his back. Again, spiteful watching. Jaylen Brown, I believe, is I passed Larry Bird for most 30-point games in a streak with 9 in a row. Spiteful watching. I will watch this Celtics team. Yeah, it's frustrating to watch, but it is also enjoyable at the same time because they're not supposed to be here. Like when I did headlines, Bruins, they weren't supposed to be where they are. Now they're back to reality, losing 6 in a row. The Celtics team, they shouldn't have been this. We all thought they were going to be a play-in team, maybe even the 8 seed, right there, right on the cups of the playoffs. They're doing it. They're playing right now. Jaylen Brown is showing that he can be that guy for any team, and it's fun to watch. But when you watch games like this, with the slow starts, the casual stretches, the letting a young team gain confidence, playoff habits versus regular season bad habits, which they usually have, and playing down to your competition, it's tough. It is infuriating because they're better than what they are.
Mazzulla's always had the same problem of not being able to manage game or managing what's actually happening in the game. He plays analytics. He doesn't know anything about analytics and how the way games actually work, how to manage the flow and the tendency of a game. That's literally not something that he is capable of doing, or really, to his credit, doesn't even seem to have interest in it. He just has a plan and then just goes out and then just says, this is what we're going to do. Nothing else matters. So he's a stubborn asshole and he sticks with it and he gets some success because he's got good players. But as far as actual game flow and managing tendencies, it never happens. And in a lot of situations, they get outcoached by any other basketball coach that just attempts to do something unique in that moment.
Well, yeah, I ask you, is this a one-off thing or is it something we've seen too much of? And I think I already know what your answer is, but I'll let you answer it.
Yeah, no, it's the same story. Yeah. We just don't have the best player in the NBA to cover up the cracks. That's all.
Kind of like what the Patriots had when Tom Brady was here. He was always that guy covering up the cracks. You could bring in, Jabbar Gaffney and make him a household name because, you have Tom Brady throw him in the ball and he can figure out what the best avenue is for that guy. When you have Jason Tatum here, he can fix that and push the other stuff underneath the rug because obviously he's one of the best players in the NBA. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think we're going to see it throughout the season. So yeah, I think it's going to continue to happen. And the other problem is this defense. The defense didn't travel out west. They have poor closeouts, allowing rhythm threes, guards getting downhill too easy, a lack of communication. same old story. When before the season started, Joe Mazzulla pretty much said, like, oh, we're going to be running. Jaylen Brown had that infamous press conference, said we're going to be a running team. We're going to be a track team out there.
It never happened. I don't even understand what
we've never seen
about.
it. I mean,
all they did was shoot three. They just started with the same shooting threes.
Yeah, it's the same shit, different day. I mean, we're almost in January right now, and I don't think we've seen that the Celtics track team yet out there on the court at all.
And hopefully we won't. We don't need to see Raymond High School basketball all over again. That's dumb. They're the NBA. They should have a plan instead of just trying to outrun everybody. Everybody can run. They're all professional athletes.
Well, yeah, there's too much standing around. You have over-reliance on isolation, ball stop moving late in possession, settling for contested jumpers, no consistent paint pressure. When you have the lackluster front court that we do, you're not going to have any paint pressure. When the ball sticks, the Celtics become guardable. Like if they're just not moving that ball around, if they're just standing still, playing that ISO ball and just trying to let someone cook, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked.
I know, and it's frustrating because they're not going to make a move unless it's based in a long-term strategy, and they're just going to sit in the season as a holding pattern until Tatum comes back. When Tatum comes back, they'll push. They'll try and win. They're going to try and win when he's here, but they're going to now look towards next season before they use any of these resources.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything for this season. They're going to. I
think
wait.
They are. I think
you do. You think they're going to make a move?
I think they're going to make a move. I think because they're going to be a top 3 team in the East. And when you look at the top,
I would be stunned if they did that.
Well, you got Detroit in front of you and you got fucking New York Knicks. I mean, 2 teams that you notoriously beat up year after year. You get Tatum back. You probably are just, if you could get a big man, if you could get a front court help, this team could be a top team in the East.
I would agree with you. If they use resources to get a legitimate front court, however that is, to get a legitimate front court, sure, that would spice things up and that would totally get me in. But until that they do that, they're not a legitimate team. They are an unfinished product, and they don't have the ability. They don't have they can't fix it with coaching because the guy's a moron.
Oh, and you know why he's a moron? Because he always has his team playing down to competition. And this is something that's followed Boston for years, Bobby. Celtics dominate elite teams, and they struggle against the undermanned ones. Mental edge disappears. Championship teams don't do this in March or April. Why do the Celtics respect contenders more than they respect the schedule? Because Joe Mazzulla. It's Joe Mazzulla. It is Joe Mazzulla. That is what you can say the whole problem with this Boston Celtics is. It's Joe fucking Mazzulla. He is the problem with his team because, he lets this fucking happen under his watch. He doesn't, you go play your ass off against like the likes of the Warriors, the Lakers, the top teams, Dallas, all those top echelon teams. But then you play teams like Memphis, you play teams like the Pelicans, and they play down to them. And then you have these guys that they're just like, whatever. It's just a regular season. It's just a regular season loss. And that's a loser mentality. I think it's just a loser mentality coming from their coach.
The players get up for the games against the other good teams. So the players get themselves ready for that game because they want to be competitive against those teams. And then when they're playing the doldrums of the NBA, the coaches aren't giving them any sort of an edge. So they're just blah, blah.
Yeah, and the biggest problem, too, is they don't have bench. They don't have a bench or lack thereof a bench.
They're a 6-team player, six-guy team.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it is. Depth didn't swing in the game. Bench scoring is inconsistent. Defensive drop-off with rotations. I think even in the front court, you have defensive drop-off. Need for one stabilizing presence when starters struggle. Who would that be? Jordan Walsh?
Used to be Derek White, but now he's in a different role.
Used to be Payne Pritchard. Now he's in a different role.
He's in a different role.
So now you have guys coming off the bench that you're just like, what? I mean, Anthony Simon has been playing pretty well. Obviously, he's been that jolt, but
he's been but he's not what they need.
No, not at all.
They need to get a different player of that caliber. It's just he's not the right type of player. They just got him because they could get rid of everything. He just fit. He fit what they wanted to do, but the player didn't fit the team.
No.
So he was never meant to be here.
No, the Drew Holiday. You'll take all that money, and we don't have to pay any of it. Here we go. Yeah, we'll take that guy in return. Sure will. That's all that was.
If they could trade him for a different player that had a different skill set, that's what they needed to be looking into making moves like that. But I mean, I get it. Who wants a player like that? I'm sorry, Anthony, he's not a winning player. He's just not. No. He's a player on a losing team. That's what they look like. They're flashy. They score points. They're like good at basketball, but they don't play winning basketball. That's not a winning player.
No. And, like I said, the Celtics are a top 3 team in the East. They can still win it all. But nights like this, Bobby, is why we all worry. Like when you see them drop into a team who is, I believe, 10th out in the Western Conference, it just scares you. It just is like, why do we play down like this? And then it's an ugly game. You guys are rolling, you're third in the East, and then you just fizzle. Start off, and I think that's the start of the West Coast trip, too. I mean, Indiana doesn't count because they played them so many times, but that's the start of this big West Coast trip. So, yeah, it's not a good start to the West Coast.
Nope.
And also, obviously the next game matters more than this one. Will they come out against the Jazz and play more angry and more passive? Will there be more defensive intensity? Will there be a leadership response? Will Jaylen Brown just go off? That's the questions you have to ask for and see if we can get the answer tonight when they play the Jazz in 30 minutes.
We'll see what Mazzulla has cooked up for him.
I'm sure it's going to be phenomenal. But with that, NFL time. It's the last week of the season, so we're going to go around the NFL and talk some football right after this.
Apparently, the Celtics are dumb front-running pussies. This is the same team they have been for 4 years running.
Well, my worst nightmare came true. Mazzulla and Mayo are friends. What the fuck? Apparently they've known each other since Virginia. They have these docking sessions where they talk about ball and managing people.
I'm on vacation. I'm going to quay all these. I'm going to fucking watch them this week.
Do you say quay?
Is it not quay?
It's Q. It's Q. It's QUE.